Hey everybody, it's Doug Shelf with Remax Oceanside and MakeMaineYourHome.com. In this week's episode of the Make Maine Your Home podcast, I'm going over to see Elizabeth Polansky with The Styled Home. She's a stager, interior designer, retail shop owner. She's very impressive, and I'm really excited to go talk to her. So let's do this. All right, guys, I'm over to see Elizabeth, and I'm really excited to talk to her. We've done some work together in the past, and staging to me is extremely important when you're selling a house. And we'll jump right in and start talking about it. First off, thanks for having me over.
Thanks for inviting me, and I welcome you into my warehouse and my showroom.
Yeah, this place is impressive. I took some videos here, and if you're listening to this, I highly recommend jump on YouTube and kind of check it out on video, because I couldn't believe my eyes when I walked in here. I mean, how big this is and how much stuff you have.
Right.
It's amazing. But anyway, before we get too much into staging, let's learn a little bit about you first.
Okay.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Waukesha, Wisconsin. So,
Wisconsin.
I'm a Midwestern girl.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Yeah.
So born and raised out there?
Born and raised,
yeah.
But I've been in Portland, Maine for 20 years.
Okay.
And this is my home, and I love it, and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
You're not going back?
I'm not going back.
What brought you out here?
A job, career.
Okay.
So came out here in '98 and then stuck around.
When I got here, you kind of explained to me everything you do, and it's a lot. So I want to make sure we touch on just about everything that you do.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about what got you into like this whole staging and interior design world. I mean, is this something that you grew up loving, or did you?
It actually is. My career background was in fine jewelry. Mm-hmm. So I was from a teenager up until I was in my mid to late 20s, worked in the fine jewelry industry. Managed stores in New Jersey and the Philadelphia area.
Oh wow! And
then ended up moving to the Midwest, back to Ohio, and where my daughter was born. Okay. And then in '98 came to Maine, and always had a passion for interior design, but decorating. And I actually had a concept in my head before HGTV or DIY or any of those ever came on cable, of working with busy professionals, homeowners that didn't have the time, desire, know-how on how to decorate their home. Yeah. So I would go in.
That's me.
And and you know what? And it quite frankly, it's a lot of people. And so I would go in, assess the room, and then formulate my plan on what needed to be done in order to decorate that room. And then I would go out and I would shop for everything. Oh, and then I would show up one morning while they were at work, get everything all staged, so to speak. Yeah. They would come home and it would be decorated.
Oh, wow. So you were doing this
I was doing
even
this
before
20 years ago.
Oh my goodness. So even before like, HGTV and all that kind of stuff. Isn't that something?
Exactly.
Now, was this like a side business for you?
So this was mother's hours.
Yeah, okay.
This was a fun job that I did with a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And it was just referral based.
Sure.
And mother's hours. And it started to grow.
Yeah, I bet.
And that was in 2000. And then in 2004, I had a second business partner.
Okay.
And we received the first phone call, do we do staging? And we had both moved here from different areas of the country.
Was that from a broker or was that?
It was from a broker.
It was,
yes.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
They had an empty condo, and obviously they were from another part of the country that they knew what staging was.
Okay.
Because it wasn't here yet.
Right.
And we looked at each other and we said, we can do it.
Right. Sure. Why not?
And we pilfered our homes
because
we didn't have furnishing. So we literally pilfered and staged this first small little condo. And
where was that? What town?
It was in Portland.
It was in Portland? Yeah, sure.
It was in Portland. And
Isn't
and then we started, we're like, okay, you know what? We need to get the word out. So we did a few, like broker, informational little lectures, so to speak.
Yeah, sure. Going to real estate offices.
Exactly.
Like that. Right.
And the response we got was comical, but understandable, was how would you ever expect me to say to my client that their house is ugly? And it needs to be staged.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
So we understand.
Yeah, that's
obviously,
interesting. Yeah.
We
nowadays that's like, that's just
right.
We talk about staging all the time now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The difference between 2004 and 2019, we didn't have the internet in 2004.
Right. Yeah,
Real estate sales were based on brokers getting out there and doing their legwork, but also running those open houses on Sunday.
That's a good point. That was still the time where, maybe there was a couple pictures somewhere. And
right.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
But in order to get your buyer, they're looking in the newspaper,
sure.
For those open houses, or
which you saw one or two pictures, of course.
Exactly. Or as a broker, you're listening to your client's parameters and you're looking at everything that's coming up on MLS and saying, okay, let's go see, 10 Main Street, you're going to line up the homes that you wanted to show them.
Right.
As the internet began to change and real estate sales became more obviously internet driven,
right.
Meaning based on the pictures.
Right.
My job started to change.
To go, sure. Because now it became more important that the pictures look good.
Exactly.
Right.
And so for us, what had started to happen was, as we're doing these houses, we started investing in inventory. And we got our first storage locker, and then we got our second one, and then we got our fourth one, and then we got our eighth one.
Right. Because you need a lot of room for furniture.
You do.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to do this out of like 8 garage storage lockers. 2012 signed a lease on our first warehouse, which was 2,000 square feet.
Wow.
And so prior to 2012, we were very, very fortunate to have connected with a local broker, and we had our office under his umbrella.
Oh, okay.
So when
sure.
when the market took that dive, we still had a presence.
Yeah.
And so we had brokers coming in and out of our office. So we were still able to continue our business even though the market
right. But you were able to survive because of who you were working with and where you were.
Exactly.
Right. Makes sense.
Exactly. So that first warehouse, we outgrew that in a year.
Oh, yeah.
And, and it's very important for me to say we, because that partner and I we grew the business to what it was, 5 years ago when I bought her out. But we quickly upgraded to a 3,000 square foot warehouse. 2016, she decided to make a career change, actually wanted to get into real estate.
Okay.
So then the company became mine.
Okay.
And within about 3 or 4 months, I hired 3 people. And within probably another 6 months, I hired a 4th.
Wow.
Fast forward to 2017, I was bursting at the seams. And
you're still in this little 3,000?
I'm still in the 3,000 square
I say
foot
little,
warehouse.
but it's still
Right.
Right.
I was, and we
compared
were,
to this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because for me, when it comes to a staging job, so you as the broker, are bringing me my clients. If I didn't have you and the real estate industry out there, I wouldn't have a job. I wouldn't have any of this. So this is all for you guys, really, to help your job, make your job easier.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, without brokers, how do you find the sellers? You know what I mean? How do you find people looking to sell? Yeah, it'd be difficult.
Exactly.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Exactly. So you know what? I give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
And when I'm doing a job, if I don't have the right furniture to create that look, or I'm missing something, I invest in it. And we were so swamped in 2016. I did 100 vacant stagings in 1 year.
Wow.
We were doing like 3 a week. And I was constantly buying furniture because I didn't have that much furniture.
Right.
And so in 17, I moved to a 6,000 square foot unit down at the end of this building.
Okay, gotcha.
And that move was, unbelievable. I had to have all my custom platforms rebuilt. It was unreal. I, at that point, retained additional help to help me move. Those women were so fabulous. They ended up joining my team. So I now have 8 on my team. Okay. And
are these 8 full-time employees?
Part-time.
Part-time employees.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yep. My team is all part-time.
Yep.
And within 3 months of moving into 6,000 square feet, I already knew I was going to outgrow that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then the next unit became available, which was another like 1,800 square feet. So I snatched that up from my my landlord. Well, at that same time, something amazing happened to my business. A local furniture store, upscale, sold their building and their land and decided to retire. They didn't really have any plans to reopen another location. And very quickly, the owner, Maria, called me and said, "Can I come work for you? I am so bored." And we were slamming. It was in August.
That's so great.
So she came to work and joined my team. Well, she saw that warehouse space and she said, "What would you think of opening a retail showroom?"
Right.
And because her followers and all of her loyal clients kept calling, saying, emailing, "When are you opening? When are you opening?" So,
and they had a good business over there.
They had an awesome business. Yeah. And so we came up with a strategy and a plan, and we opened last January, so January of 2019, the Styled Home by Upscale.
Okay.
And this is it's a warehouse location.
Yeah.
We carry retired staging furniture.
Okay.
So all of, anything that I have that I'm just ready to cycle through gets priced to sell. We carry awesome new product, and we carry current consignment pieces.
Yeah.
A very similar model to what they had at their other location, obviously in a much smaller scale. And so that we hit the ground running hard with that. And
Now, are you open normal retail hours, or I think I remember you saying that it's really kind of a
we are not
limited basis. Okay.
We are not, because we are a warehouse location, so we're not a typical storefront. And so we typically are open 3 days a week.
Okay.
And what has worked for us is we post our weekly hours on Sunday for that week.
Okay.
And
where do you post that?
Oh, I'm sorry, on Facebook.
Facebook, okay.
So
if you find their Facebook page.
Exactly. If you find our Facebook page, which is the Styled Home by Upscale,
okay.
Follow us, like us.
Yep.
Maria posts all of our new furniture. She posts, things that have sold. We're constantly changing our inventory.
And that's where you'll find out like hours. So if you want to stop by in those times, you're welcome.
Exactly.
Okay. And we're actually sitting in the.
You are.
This is kind of like the retail zone. Although they can wander if they want.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have. So this is our new showroom. We just moved in here like 2 months ago, and I just had my brand new glass garage door put on, which it just has made such a beautiful,
brightens the place up.
we love it.
Yeah.
And but we let shoppers shop the entire warehouse.
Okay.
Just about anything is for sale. If I don't have it tagged to go out to a project, more than likely it can be sold.
It's game, yeah.
Or if it's a piece that I know I can't replace, some pieces I can't sell. Also, there's certain pieces that if I even dare mention to my team that I'm going to sell, they're like, Elizabeth, don't you dare sell that.
Don't do it. Yeah, sure.
So we have our favorites.
Makes sense. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, great. Since we're rolling right into like what you do, we talked about your retail side of things, which is awesome that's even here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure my wife will end up stopping by.
Good. I hope so.
I'm sure the Shelf family will spend a lot of money at this place now. But let's we'll talk a little bit about like the services you offer. And the first one I have written down here is the consultations, because I know that's really where I use, staging quite a bit.
Yes.
The way I present a consultation is just about every seller that I sit down with, I talk about, I say, hey, look, I'd like to bring a stager into the house to give us basically a list of what to do, So why don't we chat a little bit about that? What do you do when you get a call for consultation? I mean, we get you in touch with the client. How does that work? Because quite honestly, I don't really go to those appointments anymore.
Right.
I stay out of the way and say, you take it.
Which in all honesty, I love it when the realtor is there, because I'm helping to educate you on what you should be looking for.
Now I got to be there from now.
Okay,
now
you
see what you did? Okay.
Every single consultation, quite frankly, is exactly the same. It doesn't matter if I am meeting with a client that has a home that is going to sell for $200,000 or $2 million. I do the same exact thing. I am looking at every property a couple of different ways. Number one, first and foremost, is through the eyes of the buyer. Buyers today, their expectations are so high that they expect perfection in every single price level. And
isn't that funny? Yeah.
It's amazing. And I have a whole nother analogy that I would love to share with that as well. So I'm looking at everything when I go into a home. I drive up. I'm looking at curb appeal. I'm looking. I get out of my car. If I pull up to the garage, are the clapboards rotten? Are the garage doors dented? Are the light fixtures rusted and dated? As I go in, I start at the front door, and I'm looking at wall color.
Okay.
I'm looking at the condition of the paint. Painting is my number one recommendation on almost every single home that I go into.
I could see that. Yeah.
Paint is magical.
Yeah.
it will take a home that has been lived in hard and instantly transform it to almost looking brand new.
We got just a quick point on
Yeah.
that, because our office, we just had a condo in Portland that we sold. It wasn't my listing; it was another broker in the office. But they had the reds and and the yellows all over,
Yeah.
and I don't know. You might have even told them to paint it, but they painted it, and I think they got offers like within a week. You know what I mean, of doing that.
I think I know which project
I
that
know.
was.
I bet you do.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and I know the broker was really happy with it, of course, and so is the seller. So
Right.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
We have, and again, this is my professional opinion. The age of the internet and having our cell phone and our iPads and our laptops, we have created a society that has very little vision. We can't see beyond what is in front of us.
Right.
And it's interesting with wall color because it instantly does a couple of things. It creates an emotional response, either a good one or a negative one.
Right.
And but it also can timestamp a home. So
Sure.
back in the 90s and early 2000s, that was the day of all the jewel tones. That was the red dining rooms, the harvest gold walls,
Sure.
the
See so many of them.
green.
Yeah.
Today, buyers want light, bright, and fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, I say they want 50 shades of gray.
It's so funny. Every newer house or new paint job, it's always some sort of gray. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And gray has become the new neutral.
Mm-hmm.
And what it affords or allows a homeowner to do is not have such a specific color on their wall, and they can create the interest with their furnishings. But so wall color is the number one thing that I look at.
Okay.
And I will tell you, if I'm called to look at a home and I have the ability to look at some pictures, if it's yellow, I instantly will say it's the kiss of death. Yellow is the kiss of death in today's real estate
Isn't
world.
that something? Yeah.
People hate it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at wall color. I'm looking at carpeting. What's the condition of the carpet?
Sure.
As a new homeowner, you don't necessarily want to spend X on a brand new house and have to go in and rip out all the carpet.
Right.
And that is somewhat what people are looking at today.
Yeah, I agree. Some carpeting it can make or break a room. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Light fixtures.
Okay.
The 1990s brass light fixtures.
Oh, yeah.
They
Yeah.
are still out there.
They sure are.
And it is very affordable to switch out your light fixtures with new current fixtures. I typically source mine from big box stores for my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And that instantly transforms a home. So between, painting, carpet, light fixtures, these are all things that will help take a home that might be 15, 20, 25 years old and bring it up into today's age.
Right. As much as you can anyway.
Exactly. And then of course I'm looking at, clutter and excessive collections and things like that,
Right.
furniture placement.
Okay.
So that's looking at a house through the eyes of the buyer. Then I look at it through the lens of the camera.
Oh, right. Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
How is this room going to photograph? Because if it doesn't photograph well and translate online,
Yeah, they're not coming.
they're not coming.
Right.
Because they're going to look at those pictures, and if they, as a buyer, go ooh, 9 times out of 10 they're going to go click,
Gone.
and they're going to be gone.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because when I'm meeting with a prospective homeowner or home seller, and, we're sitting and we chat and, and I have a very similar conversation with them as I'm in their home.
Yeah.
And being a home seller, 9 times out of 10, they're a buyer as well.
Right. Exactly.
So I say to them, okay, so you're looking as well. So you're out there. What are you seeing online for homes that fit your search criteria?
Right.
9 times out of 10, they say to me, oh my God, Elizabeth, I can't believe what is out there.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing. Now, so I do the same analogy. I said, so what is your instant response? And they're like, oh, I just click on to the next house.
Right.
And I said, yes, but you entered your search criteria through your browser or whatever, Trulia, Zillow. And obviously that home that came up fit your criteria.
Right.
And
it's on the list. Yeah.
It's on the list. So you start, from the privacy of your own home, you're getting into that home before ever contacting your broker.
Right.
So you're making your eliminations. Anything in there that just turns you off, you're not going to see that house. And unfortunately, that house could be perfect for you, but because you're not connecting emotionally with it, you're going to discount it.
Right. It's gone.
It's gone.
That's true. That's such a good point.
And that's the same thing that could happen to that seller.
Right.
That I'm
to
sitting.
Their home.
Right. To their home.
Because some of the houses they're looking at and discounting, somebody didn't spend the time to do exactly what you're saying. Yeah,
exactly.
That makes perfect sense.
Exactly. Yeah. In today's market, every home needs some type of staging.
Right.
And I'll be honest, Doug, I don't like the word staging. It really doesn't encompass what it is.
What you're doing. Yeah.
Right. When it first came about in the 1980s, yes, you were staging a home. You were, just like you would stage a play or a movie or whatever.
Right.
Today, it's actually the preparation to get that house ready to be marketed.
Right.
Because your home is the largest marketable item you are ever going to attempt to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And not almost every single home needs something.
Right.
Some need more than others.
Yeah.
I go into some homes, I don't even need to write things down because the list is very short. I go into other homes, 10, 12, 15 pages long.
Yeah, sure.
And the longer the proposal and the consultation and the notes, obviously the higher the cost is to get that house ready.
To get it ready. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
To get it buyer ready or market ready.
Yeah.
The statistics, this is everybody wants statistics on what should staging cost.
Oh yeah, okay. Sure.
Typically in the industry, 1% to 3% of the list price of a home.
Oh, interesting. I don't know if I've heard that. Yeah, that's good. That's good to know.
So if you have a $200,000 home, you could be looking at anywhere from, a couple of thousand potentially to, if it needs a lot, maybe 6,000 or so. So and obviously the bigger the house.
Right. The more it's going to, of course. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
And I typically have found that to hold pretty true.
So you're seeing that cost is roughly there.
Right.
So real quick, kind of finish up the consultation. Yeah. One thing I wanted to throw out there, just so people are clear, when you do the consultation, you put together a great report and everybody gets a copy of it. I mean, that's what I love about it, because I tell homeowners that if you're not going to hire Elizabeth or somebody to help do the work, at least you have the report and you can do it yourself or whatever.
Absolutely.
And also she has all the furniture. So because I've had clients that are like, I don't need my whole house done, but maybe I just need a dining room table over here or something like that. And of course you can help out with that.
Absolutely.
So moving on to like the staging. I don't know any other word to use.
Yeah.
So
No, and it is. Yes, it is staging.
So you're able to really furnish anything from an empty house to, whatever.
Yes.
And that's probably where the bulk of the cost comes in, that 1 to 3% is like supplying the furniture and all that.
Actually, well, so there's two types of projects that I do.
Okay.
There is an owner occupied, where that is where I'm going in and doing my staging consultation, where I'm advising them on everything that needs to be done in order to get their home market ready. So that's phase 1 of a consultation. Phase 2 is the physical staging piece. That's the artistic piece when I'm meeting with a client that I can't put that on paper.
Right.
That's the piece where, should they decide to retain my services to do that final piece, that's done the morning of the photo shoot. So as the broker, we coordinate the day that you want to schedule your pictures, and and the owners have done everything on their list that they're comfortable doing. I may give them a little shopping list of things that they might need, from white towels to possibly new bedding, new bed pillows.
Okay.
And then I schedule a block of time in the morning for myself and 2 to 3 of my team members to go into that house and do a photo prep.
Okay. So you're running around room to room, getting it ready for the photographer.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because you can do everything up front, but if that room is not put together and cohesive and look visually balanced.
Right. So you're kind of like that last eye before the photographer to say, okay, we're ready. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every pillow, the beds are made, the towels are folded, the, personal items are put away.
Right.
And that typically in an owner-occupied home takes me anywhere from probably 2 to 4 hours.
Okay.
And I determine that when I'm meeting with them, and I can provide that quote.
And that's you're obviously not necessarily bringing in any furniture.
No.
It's more just kind of using what they have.
Absolutely.
Making it right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, great.
You know what?
Yeah.
Moving things around, and we shop the house, and we'll go in the basement, we'll go in the garage. We might pull a chair from the attic or whatever, and people are like, oh my God, that was going to the dump. And we're like, no, this is awesome. So it's very fun for us. The other thing that's really fun about it is to see the owner's reaction when we're finished.
Yeah.
And they're like, I never knew our house.
I can't believe it's my house.
Right.
Yeah.
I never, or I never knew, I never knew what to do with this room.
Right.
And it never felt right. And so we love that.
It's funny. You should almost, like, even if you plan on staying in your house 10 years, you should just hire her to come over and do that for you.
You know what? I got to tell you, we've done that. And I keep trying to figure out a way to promote that. It's, staging to sell and staging to stay, I guess.
Yeah, right.
So that's owner occupied. Then a vacant property, that is the specialty of my company.
Right.
That's where 10,000 square feet of home furnishings comes into play.
Right.
And I go in with my direct team on every project, and we walk the house. We take our notes, we take our picture, and we start formulating our plan on what we're going to do and how we're going to stage this property.
Right.
And then it all begins on our warehouse. It's where the team collaborates and looks over all the pictures.
Sure.
And we start tagging all the furniture.
Now, do you got a lot of space here? And I know you said a lot of it's out, so it might not normally
Right.
might be a little more full.
Oh.
But do you try to set up the rooms like before you even get there? Or is it
No.
kind of like, okay, so you just,
No.
because you have a good idea where things
yeah.
are going to go. And okay.
We have it so nailed down, and we have such a system, and my team is so incredibly amazing at how they put everything together. It's color coordinated. I will not leave a property and put my card on a property until it is absolutely perfect.
Right.
And that is what I've built my business on. And so right now, the pictures that you see in my warehouse, in my eye, it's a little bit on the empty side because
Right.
I've got like 18 houses out right now.
Right. Which is funny because when I was looking around, I was like, wow, you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it's
Right.
all out. And of course, if, somebody comes in and says, hey, we need 10 houses stages, you need all this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is great.
At any given time, I mean, when I'm in high season, we can have 25 to 30 houses out at a time.
Right.
Right.
Now I'm just curious when a house is vacant, probably like new construction or whatever, is it typical that you're staging the whole house? Or, I mean, because honestly, I normally walk in, it's like kitchen, master, dining room.
Exactly. Main living area, main first floor, master bedroom.
Right.
And then we accessorize all the bathrooms.
Okay.
If there is a secondary room that maybe needs to be shown as an office,
right, like
we'll stage an office. Or if it's an area or a room that I know a buyer isn't going to understand what to do with that, I will always recommend staging that. Or if it's a bedroom that is so small, a buyer's going to walk in and go, can I even get a queen bed in there?
I know what you mean. Yeah. Because buyers can't picture it and they don't know. Yeah.
It is so difficult to conceptualize space.
Mm-hmm.
And we even sometimes have an issue with that. When we see a vacant property, a lot of times it feels smaller than it actually is. So we may have our plan, and this happened today. We were staging in Yarmouth, and we're getting everything set up, and I'm like, I need more chairs.
Isn't that funny?
I need another rug. And so we get in the truck and we come back and we add all of those items, and it doesn't that doesn't cost my clients anything more. For me, it has to be perfect.
Yeah. Every house that I've seen your card in is always just spectacular. So you do an awesome job.
Thank you.
I pretty much covered everything that I had on my little list here.
Perfect.
Is there anything coming up that you want to promote, or is there anything cool going on right now? You got enough going on, I think.
Oh my gosh! But you know what? It's so fun. I would just love anybody in the Portland area to stop in and see us.
Yeah. I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah, take a walk through. It is a shopping experience unlike any. There is no other company of this kind that I know of north of Boston or even really on the East Coast. So it's pretty unique.
Right here in Maine.
Right here.
It's fantastic.
Right here in Westbrook, Maine.
Westbrook, Maine. Yeah. Well, I guess we can kind of end off here. Is like do you give out should we give out your address?
Oh, absolutely.
5 Delta, right?
Yeah, it's 5 Delta Drive in Westbrook. We're located behind the Goodwill store. Again, we post our weekly hours on our Facebook page. This is the hours for our store, which is the Styled Home by Upscale. It's Facebook.com/the Styled Home by Upscale. Okay. Or you can always give us a call. And if our weekly hours don't fit into your schedule, we will schedule by appointment.
You'll work
absolutely.
Schedule
We want to be available to anybody that needs us.
Perfect. Yeah, and I'll make sure we put like your Facebook page and everything right in the notes of whatever, if you're watching or listening.
Okay.
But check them out on Facebook. She does awesome work. But
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was great.
This is fun. fun.
Awesome.
Loved it.
Well, hey, thanks, guys. If you have any questions for me or Elizabeth, comment below, give us a call, send an email, go to Facebook page, all that kind of stuff. And remember, if you're going to make Maine your home, you don't have to do it alone.